Thank you. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. So good to see all of you here this morning. I must tell you on this occasion, and I address you as I did at Gettysburg on November the 19th, 1963. That's been a few years back. But let me say this. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we're engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We're met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this, but in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be dedicated here to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom and a government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. But this war has continued. And just a few days ago, I gave my second inaugural address. And I think I should like to do that for you, to repeat what I said on that occasion then. Fondly do we hope, fervently do we pray that this mighty scourge of war shall speedily pass away. Yet, if God wills that it continue until all the wealth of the bondman's 250 years of unrequited toil shall be sunk, until every drop of blood drawn by the lash shall be paid by another drawn by the sword. As was said 3,000 years ago, so still it must be said, the judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wound, to care for him who has borne the battle, and his widow and orphan, to do all to achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. Those were my words on that occasion. But you see, the war is going to be over, I know, within a matter of just days or a week. It's all there. And I can tell you, and I know our bandmaster is here yet, but you see, on the 9th, I received a message that General Lee had surrendered at Appomattox and at that courthouse. And I can tell you what a great moment. But I turned to my to my band. The Marine band was playing there on the lawn at the White House. And I turned to the bandmaster and I said, "Sir," I said, "would you please play Dixie for us?"
Very well, sir.
I really would. You see, I have it from a great source, my Secretary of War, Mr. Stanton. And Mr. Stanton says it now belongs back to us again.
Fair enough, sir.
Thank you, sir.